We're live basically.
Let's give it 3 seconds, and I think we will be.
All right, I'm just gonna go fill up some water really quick.
Okay.
We're live basically. Boom, and found yesterday's iced coffee. Golden trip to the refrigerator.
Nice. Okay. I'm ready to do this.
Let's go.
All right. We're live on YouTube in 5, 4, 3. Welcome to the Dirty Sports Podcast. I am your host, Andy Ruther, coming to you live from Cincinnati, Ohio, with my co-host, Joey No Chill Praino.
Hello, Andrew.
Good afternoon from Ohio. Good morning to Venice Beach.
Thank you. How's everything over there in Cincinnati, Ohio?
Well, I'm hoping I don't have COVID right now.
Yeah, I heard about that. I'm sorry, buddy. You?
Yeah, I've been under the weather and the last 3 days. So, the symptoms really range for COVID, and I've just been extremely tired and fatigued. Sleeping a lot, no other symptoms. So yesterday I went to an urgent care where I live and waited the line was about 75 minutes to get a COVID test. And yeah, I got a giant stick shoved up my nose and they twisted around. It does not feel good.
Yeah. I got a giant stick shoved. That basically any sentence that starts that way is not good.
Yeah. So I have to wait 4 to 6 days. And look, I don't think I have it, but then again, I went there because I wanted to actually speak to a doctor. And she said, look, man, you don't have a fever. Your temperature's fine. You don't have any other symptoms, but fatigue is a major symptom. So you could have it. You could not have it. Like she didn't give me much. So I got to wait here. Hopefully I'll find out earliest is Sunday, latest is beginning of next week. But if I do have it, it's going to be a major problem because it's where do I go?
Right. Well, let's hope you don't have it.
I know. So sadly, my trip was canceled. I was supposed to visit Bilbo this weekend. Canceled.
Well, that's a great segue because that means Bilbo will have more time to work on my ongoing docu-series, which I dropped this morning, 2 weeks to Pebble. I posted it on my Twitter and I retweeted on the Dirty Sports account. But for anybody who's watching right now, go to my YouTube page. Go to youtube.com/Joe Praino and subscribe because there's going to be a bunch of videos coming documenting me trying to become a halfway decent golfer in under 2 weeks so that I don't embarrass myself at Pebble Beach. So check out that video. Check out that video on my Twitter or go to my YouTube and subscribe.
What's the connection to get to Pebble Beach?
Andy Lazarus.
But what's his connection for Pebble Beach?
I don't think it's a connection as much as he had a friend. So it's a pretty long wait list to get on. And I guess he had a buddy who had a tee time for God knows how long. And the guy couldn't take it. And he gave it up to Laz. And Laz offered me one spot in the foursome, which I gladly accepted and then regretted taking and then almost bailed on. And the whole story of me being in and out and wanting to play and not wanting to play is in the first episode of #2 weeks to Pebble. So check that out if you want the whole backstory.
Okay.
but that's posted on my YouTube. So guys, subscribe to my YouTube because there's about probably 4 or 5 episodes to come before I even get to Pebble.
Well, looks like you're staying busy. That's good. I think that's a healthy outlet for you, for anybody, right? To get away from kind of the craziness that we're having right now in the world.
And apparently that's the thing. I mean, I was just talking to Pizza Staro, a friend of the show, who said he was talking to the pro at the golf range he goes to in the mornings, the little public course he plays out in the Hamptons. And the guy said he's done double what he's twice as busy as a normal year. So I think a lot of people are playing golf during the Corona times, these unprecedented times.
Yeah, I just drove by a golf course in my neighborhood. Same thing. It looked pretty packed, and I think that people are using this as a time to get out and hit the links.
So my goal, Andy, I don't know if I mentioned on the thing, I'm just trying to shoot 100. I'm trying to shoot 100.
Okay.
100. A Pebble Beach apparently pretty tough. Obviously,
what's par?
72.
Okay, so you'd be plus 28.
Yeah. So basically bogey and a half every hole, and I'll be, I'm around 100. Like if you go 27, bogey and a half every hole, that's a 99. So like honestly, being like between bogey and double bogey on every hole, I feel like that's a good solid goal for a guy who picked up golf exactly 2 weeks ago.
Yeah, I feel ya.
But also, I think it's going to be tough. Laz thinks it's 100's a good number. He in an upcoming episode says he is willing to take wagers on me, even regretfully. Like he doesn't think I'm going to break 100, but he's willing to bet on me being clutch.
Oh, really?
So Dirtballs, if you want to bet against me shooting 100, please reach out. Please tag me and Andy Lazarus.
Well, Joe, we have a lot to talk about today, at least as far as sports news, I think, and we're awaiting, I should say, a bombshell of a story allegedly about the Washington, I don't know what their name is anymore, but the Washington former Redskins, and we're kind of sitting on that, and I know that's going to drop the minute this story. I'm sorry, the story is going to drop the minute this show ends. I think.
Like now, sports stories are taunting us. Like normally, sports stories drop the second the dirty sports ends. Now, sports stories are going, we're going to drop sometime tomorrow. We're not going to tell you what time, but I promise it's going to be right after the dirty sports ends. And we're starting 45 minutes late for due to technical difficulties over here in Venice Beach. But it doesn't matter how late we had started. It's going to drop within a 15-minute window after we finish.
So basically, I'll just allude to what's out there. There's been tons of leaks in the press regarding Washington and Daniel Snyder in particular, and just a toxic atmosphere involving everything from sexual assault to pimping women out, the cheerleaders, to now I'm seeing connections with possibly, we have Schneider I don't know if you saw us, to Jeffrey Epstein. We have a ton of people that are quitting / getting fired from the Redskins organization. Sex parties with drugs, and possibly Jay Gruden's connected. These are some wild allegations.
The whole thing of like the pimping cheerleaders and the nude photographs of cheerleaders, like this is some Any Given Sunday shit. Like also LeVar Arrington was using a chainsaw to saw through Colt McCoy's car at a party, and
I heard they tossed alligators in the locker room after they won.
James Woods is their team doctor. He's wearing his MAGA hat, and he's giving out ecstasy pills for people so that they can go to Epstein's Island.
So these possible leaks.
Who knew, by the way, who knew when we were changing the Redskins name that we're changing it to no name, that that the franchise is just getting shut down?
Well, there's another conspiracy there that's already arising. That
oh yeah,
the Washington Post, who is owned by Jeff Bezos, is going to be the paper that's going to drop this bombshell. Therefore, it's going to be so incriminating to Daniel Snyder that he is going to have to sell the team because it's going to look so bad. And that's where Bezos, whose own paper dropped it, is going to swoop in and buy the team. So there's a lot going on here.
Yeah, that's a wild conspiracy theory. There's so much to unpack here. Just like, I mean, the Gruden thing. Like, does Jay Gruden, I know he was like an arena league quarterback, but like Jay Gruden and his visor having cheerleader sex parties, that's wild to me.
Well, he got in trouble last year, let's not forget, right? What did he do last year? Was he all drunk? What was something that surfaced? Wasn't there something that surfaced last year when he was all lit? I'm pretty sure.
The big question is, with all this doesn't, I was about to say this doesn't sound too Washington, D.C., but then you remember, of course, this is very Washington, D.C., but sex parties and strippers and like, this is even more Vegas than it is D.C. Does John Gruden see this story about his brother Jay Gruden, his little bro, and suddenly decide he's a perfect fit for the Vegas Raiders? He's like, little bro, why didn't you tell me you were grinding with stripper? Like, I think you're ready for Vegas. Come in here. We'll put you in charge of personnel, not football personnel, cheerleader personnel. We get you getting showgirls from I want you to go into the casinos, grind with the showgirls a little bit, bring them over to the Vegas Raiders. We need that Elizabeth Berkley and showgirls on sidelines, strippers turned cheerleaders.
I like it. I think it's a natural transition for Jay, who, by the way, like if you look at Jay, whatever leaks, and obviously we don't know, there's just tons of speculation. Whatever happens, Jay is kind of.
I don't know, brother. I don't know if you should have been getting into sex. Cheerleaders don't tend to be the kind of people. I would go to the doctor and get yourself checked out. Make sure you didn't catch a case of Spider 2Y banana. Make sure you didn't catch yourself a case of Spider 2Y all over your banana, little bro. You're a grinder, and I like it. They used to say that you were the good son. Turns out you were the bad son all along. Turns out you were Macaulay Culkin. And it turns out that I was Elijah Wood the whole time, you little grinder, you.
Wow. Going deep with the good son reference.
Yeah.
Jay is one of those guys, though, and I bet you're going to agree with me here. I have nothing particularly against Jay Gruden, but I think he's lived off of the Gruden name. I mean, if you look at his record, he did what, a couple seasons in Cincinnati when they had, not arguably, but probably talent-wise, the best offensive weapons, right?
Yeah.
From top to, like, my point is that offense was great, but you also had so many great assets on that team. Then he gets the head coaching job in DC.
Same as Hugh Jackson. Remember? You were like, Hugh Jackson was like a decent offensive coordinator. It's like they had so much talent that multiple guys got head coaching gigs after being the offensive coordinators there. All of them went on to be train wrecks. Yeah.
So, at this point,
turns out Andy Dalton's better than we all thought. Is the coaching the whole time? Just saying.
I like him as the Cowboys' backup. In fact, that's a great segue to Dak getting the franchise tag. So Dak will make a little over $31 million this year. Not great for Dak, but I've read a lot of, is this good for Dak? Is this good for the Cowboys? Is it bad for the Cowboys? I think it's good for the Cowboys, to be honest.
Well, I think it's certainly good for the Cowboys as an organization, simply because you don't want to have to give your quarterback $30 million over the course of, 5, 6, 7 years, whatever these deals are now. And you just talked about, you like Andy Dalton as a backup. I'm not saying that Dak hasn't been good for the Cowboys. He's certainly been good. But what has he proven in terms of being the long-term, answer for the Cowboys? And I don't mean that in terms of talent and what he's been able to do on the field. I just mean from a financial standpoint. Is he better at 31 million or 35 million than Andy Dalton is at 3 million or 4 million? So, let's say Dak goes down this year and I'm not rooting for this, even as a Giants fan, but let's say Dak goes down this year and Andy Dalton comes in, tons of weapons like he's had in the past, and plays well. Do you then go, yeah, let's give Dak $200 million? I mean, Patrick Mahomes just got $500 million. What is Dak's market price right now? $250 million? You're going to give Dak Prescott $250 million for not winning anything yet?
Well, the argument that they should have given him a long-term deal would say his value is only going to increase because the market value share for the quarterback will only increase. Well, I understand that. Not necessarily. I mean, if he has if he has a mediocre or below year than he did last year, his market value really doesn't increase.
Let's talk about, we have an example of this in the division with Kirk Cousins. We have an example of a team that kept saying, we're not sure, and we're out. And I don't think anybody thinks that the Redskins have missed an opportunity to win a Super Bowl by letting go of Kirk Cousins a couple years ago. It hasn't happened in Minnesota. They played in an NFC championship game in Minnesota the year before Kirk Cousins was there. He comes in. He has not taken them back to an NFC championship game in 2 seasons. So whether you like it or not, whether you want to talk about the talent around him or not, Kirk Cousins has not had the success with the Vikings as Case Keenum. Facts. So I don't think anybody's.
Well, hold on. Statistically, he's probably played better, correct?
Sure. Okay.
You're talking as
I'm
far
talking
as
about he came in. We're not talking about what Brett Favre did, 12 years ago with the Vikings. We're talking Kirk Cousins. The Redskins gave up on Kirk Cousins. The Vikings swooped in. They were in the NFC championship game. They thought the problem was quarterback. They brought in a quarterback. They gave him the money. They didn't even get back to the NFC championship game. They've won a playoff game since he got there. So look, you can say the market value is going to only go up for Dak, but the question becomes, is he going to win you a Super Bowl, which is the only thing that matters. First things first, decide if a guy can win you a Super Bowl.
I think Dak can.
Okay.
Look, I think Dak is a very good quality quarterback. I think obviously you always see the Dak versus Carson Wentz debate, right? They're in the same division. They come around the same time. And I think those guys are obviously very comparable.
And to be honest, one had an MVP type season and has been injured for every single playoff game since the start of his career. Dak has put up a lot of big numbers in a lot of meaningless games against trash teams. And
that's where they're comparable. If you really go in and do a deep analytical dive, and I've seen a lot of people do this, both Dak and Carson Wentz do not play well against quality opponents. Facts don't lie.
And this is the name of the game the whole time. Can your quarterback win you a Super Bowl? This is the same thing we're talking about that the Redskins basically believed about Kirk Cousins back in the day. Kirk Cousins loves to stockpile yards and touchdowns against bad teams and then look horrible against good teams. The problem is you only play good teams in the playoffs unless, unless like last year, you're an Eagles team that wins a division at 8-8 or 9-7 or whatever they were, and wins a terrible division, which happens every once in a while. But for the most part, you're going to have to beat a number of good teams to get to the Super Bowl, just to get to the Super Bowl. You have to be 2 good teams.
Well, there was a few big signings in the last few days. We'll start with the Titans. They signed Derrick Henry for a 4-year, $50 million deal with basically 2 years guaranteed. I like this because it's not like an insane amount of money, and it's 4 years. I don't like the 6-7 year deals for running backs. I think 4 at his age and the value that he brings to that team is so huge that I like this deal. I really like it.
I like it for a couple of reasons. 1, 2 years guaranteed. He's the 5th highest paid running back, not the 1st highest paid running back. He's not coming in and saying, I have to top everybody else because I was the best running back in football in the postseason last year. And, in the regular season, I think he won the rushing title, right? And
correct.
And was obviously the most dominant running back in the playoffs. So to come in and take a deal at 5th, but I like it mostly because unlike I think the Panthers are going to rely heavily on Christian McCaffrey to be a runner and a receiver, but more so than a lot of running backs, even like a Saquon or even more than an Ezekiel Elliott. I feel like the personality of the Titans is we're going to play defense. We're going to beat up your defense with Derrick Henry, and we're going to take our chances playing some smash mouth football.
Yeah. I agree. I think
let's give him a shorter deal and let's work his ass.
And I think he's such a great fit for just that whole city. They're not a big market. They're Nashville. He's not a loudmouth, outspoken, flamboyant type of player, as we see a lot of these guys are, right? You don't see Derrick Henry
tweeting about his Madden rating.
Yeah. You don't see Derrick Henry, at least unless I miss something, getting caught up with Instagram models. I just think he's kind of a workhorse. I mean, what's even telling about Derrick Henry? Watch when he scores. He normally just tosses the ball to the ref. He doesn't even spike it. So, like you said, he's a workhorse, and I think it is. That's the embodiment of that team.
And it worked. And it worked for them.
Worked great. I mean, let's not forget, obviously KC ended up whooping their ass, but
they had him on the ropes.
They had him on the ropes for a half in the AFC Championship game on the road. So I really do like you. I like this signing. Other big signings we have.
And by the way, and sorry, just to double down on your point there about having KC on the ropes is KC, especially locking down Mahomes for 10 years and everything, like their style is to say, you are not going to outscore us. We're going don't get in a shootout with us. We're going to beat you in a shootout. This is our strategy. And I know everything, okay, send me your DMs calling me a homer, but it kind of is a reminiscent strategy if you're the Titans to say, if our end game, like a Giants Patriots 18-0 Super Bowl, if the team we have to go through to get to a Super Bowl is this high-powered offense, our only real strategy is to become a ball control, run it, play defense kind of offense. So I also like it too, not only in sticking with their style, but sticking in a style that really is the best chance to get a sneaky playoff win against a Patrick Mahomes, Andy Reid, high-powered offense.
And they did that. Obviously, Baltimore was just lighting it up, scoring last year, and that's exactly what they did. They controlled the ball, and they forced Lamar Jackson to have to throw the ball 50 times, which is not his strength. And they kind of ran all over Baltimore. Again, I like it. You like it. Great move by the Titans. Moving on, Myles Garrett signs the largest deal now for a defensive player. It's official. It's going to make $100 million in guarantees, $125 million extension with $50 million due at signing.
Now, is there any incentives? Are there any whack-a-mole incentives for every player he beats over the unhelmeted player he beats over the head? Does he get like a bonus?
I don't know if that's written into his contract.
I mean, we're talking about a guy who's getting the biggest defensive contract ever, suspended last year for trying to murder somebody.
Yeah, I think we've all forgotten about that. As crazy as that sounds, and obviously it's been a wild 2020, not just in the sports world.
I had to catch myself. That was the end of last season, correct? Because that was Mason Rudolph.
I think he might have missed even the last 6 games.
Yeah.
Or was it the last 4 games? Anyway, yeah. He missed a huge chunk of the season. Look, his production cannot be argued. If you put his numbers up there since he entered the league, he definitely plays a great game, and he definitely is worth it from a statistical point of view, right? But I agree. It's like, he's now going to make more money than Khalil Mack, who's stayed pretty clean.
Yeah, look, I'm not even saying. By the way, I'm a Lawrence Taylor stan. I'm not saying you have to have a clean bill of sanity to be a great defensive player. I'm just saying it is kind of amazing that it's happening like back to back. Like he didn't play the last 4 games last year because he tried to murder somebody on a football field, and they rewarded him with like that's kind of just the timing of it. Like if he played this season and then got extended next year, it's not really that big a deal. But they're like, well, we're glad you got that rest at the end of the last year for attempted manslaughter. So feeling fresh. Let's give you the big contract.
Well, and we still don't even know, right? I'm just going to say, I don't know what really happened, right? He still is saying racial slurs were tossed at him. There's a lot of what ifs, right? Like we don't really know. My question to you would be, with all these kind of questions and things we don't really know about, is that a guy you want as the leader of your defensive squad?
Sure, why not?
Okay.
You're the Browns. You can't be letting guys go.
But see, okay, then that begs the question, is this what you want if you're a Browns fan? Again, I'm not debating his production, but we all know locker room and not just people getting along, but that leadership presence is
I don't know. Look, I'm not a Browns fan, so I don't know what the general consensus is on Myles Garrett's locker room persona, but I think we can all agree he's not in the top 3 like lunatics on that team, right? I know he did attempt manslaughter, but like Baker Mayfield is in a going on 4-year internet battle with Colin Cowherd. Odell Beckham and kicking equipment have a pretty strong rivalry. Myles Garrett attempted manslaughter, top three on the team.
God, that Browns locker room. I don't see it working. I don't see that team just working.
Who's their coach? Who's their coach again? It's been so long without sports. Who's their coach?
Well, they fired Freddie Kitchens.
Correct.
I don't. Dude, that's a great point. Like, I have no clue. I'm not even looking it up. I have no clue who the Browns head coach is. You want to look it up?
I'm gonna look it up. I have to.
While you do that, the other big signing this week was Chris Jones, defensive tackle.
Kevin Stefanski.
Oh yeah. Who was he? Was he the Vikings offensive coordinator?
Yeah.
That's why I can't remember who he was, because
he
wasn't a big splash hire. So Chris Jones has signed a deal with a big deal as well, the defensive tackle for the Chiefs. He's getting $60 million in guaranteed injury. The deal is upwards to $85 million, $37 million due a contract. So these were kind of the big deals that were signed this week. So shit, man, look at the Chiefs. So they just gave Mahomes over $500 million, and now Chris Jones can make up to $85 million. They just shelled out almost $600 million in the last week.
Yeah, but I think that they're doing the right thing. Mahomes is one of a kind, And then, as I said a couple episodes ago when we talked about the Mahomes deal, their defense can't get worse. Their defense doesn't have to be amazing, but it can't get worse. They can't play worse defense. They need to keep a certain level of defense there. And honestly, I know Travis Kelce, gets paid, but on offense, you got to focus on offensive line. With Mahomes running, like Andy Reid's always been a running back by committee guy. Even LaShawn McCoy, he always had a guy who was there, like, stealing touches. Andy Reid's going to be fine with the screen game and the plug in whoever at running back situation. I think Patrick Mahomes is like all great, all timer quarterbacks, is going to turn any competent receiver into an all pro. And, just focus on keeping a certain level of defense, make sure to protect Mahomes, and you're going to be good.
Yeah.
And you're going to be, and you're a contender.
Sure. Of course. Now I have to look at all these guys' Madden ratings, because I really want to discuss this. This to me, I don't get this. And it gets worse every year. Joe, I want to get into the psychological mindset of a National Football League player. Why do grown men, the best athletes in the world, care what their rating is on a video game that a bunch of dorks around the world play? Why is this a thing every year?
I think a number of reasons. One, they're grown men physically, right? They're still, a lot of these guys are still kind of kids.
Okay.
So there's that. Second of all, they're from the video game generation. Madden, when I was a kid, Madden, the first Madden was probably like 92 or something like that, So I'm 13 when I started playing Madden. And I play Madden for, 10, 12 years consistently after that. But this is something a lot of these guys have been playing since day one. Like, they're playing Madden at 5, 6 years old. My nephew's been playing Madden for 3 years now, so basically 20 years of Madden, when it's like been a thing. Who's on the cover? What's your rating? Like, this is their shit.
Yeah, but I don't know. I'm trying to understand it, but I don't fully, like, I get what you're saying, but if I'm a great player, I'm not caring. Like, I don't know. Again, I could be wrong. But I just think if I'm at that level, the top 1% in the world of what I do, I don't see, this is just me. I don't see myself.
But honestly, I don't even think it's about I don't think this is them worrying about it in terms of a Pro Football Focus has me ranked as the 3rd best running back, or all the GMs. I think this is, obviously I'm going to use myself when I play Madden. You're telling me, I'm Saquon Barkley. You're telling me when I use myself, I'm not going to be as good as Aaron Jones? This is ludicrous. He's slamming the controller.
Okay. So now I understand that point of view. So it's more when they are playing the actual game themselves.
They want to be better. They want themselves to be better.
So these are the rankings.
You remember having you remember the day, like, obviously neither of us were ever in a professional sports league. So if we ever wanted to appear in these games, we would have to create ourselves. You know what I mean?
Sure.
You always gave yourself juiced up everything.
Well, shout out to Bilbo. Shout out to Nick D'Alessandro. I know he created me an NBA 2K. He gave me like a Costco jersey and he tried to mimic me. And I didn't even actually ever play with me. I get it. But I'm looking at the rankings. So they are somewhat interesting. So let's just start with the overall players. You have Aaron Donald at 99, Christian McCaffrey 99, and Patrick Mahomes at 99. So those are the 3 99s. Then you have J.J. Watt at 98, which I agree is kind of bullshit. Now, J.J. Watt went to Twitter last night to do the writing gif as if he was seeing all the people talking shit about him. But again, J.J. Watt's been so injury prone. He's a three-time defensive player.
By the way, the reason J.J. Watt did the writing gif, he was going to take a video of himself writing, but both of his arms are bound like this in some sort of straitjacket that he's been wearing for 12 games every season. But his nose is bloody, and he sleeps in Bill O'Brien's office. Hey, maybe your shoulders wouldn't hurt so much if you didn't sleep on a cot in your fucking head coach's office. Get yourself a Tempur-Pedic mattress, dog. You're a millionaire.
So J.J. Watt has a 98 rating. Then your 97 ratings are Khalil Mack, Russell Wilson, Von Miller. Then as we get down to 96, you have Cam Jordan, Fletcher Cox. So it is interesting. Like if you want to look at particular rankings, I know obviously when you do positions, that's where people get all worked up, especially on social media, and then especially the players. And I don't want to go over all these, but I think it's kind of funny. So the quarterback position, the top ones are Mahomes again at 99, then Russ Wilson at 97, Lamar Jackson's 94, Drew Brees 93, and Tom Brady at 90. Then you have Aaron Rodgers at 89, then Matt Ryan at 87, all above Deshaun Watson.
Yeah. It's ludicrous. Look, I get you have to consider showing it. Here's my issue. It's Madden 2020 or whatever. You know what I mean? It's not how is Tom Brady ahead of Aaron Rodgers and Deshaun Watson? In 2019, he wasn't better than those guys.
Tom Brady
wasn't better than Aaron Rodgers, wasn't better than Deshaun Watson.
Well, I think that's, obviously they're factoring in his career.
Okay, but this isn't Madden career. This is Madden 2020.
Yeah.
If you want to put Tom Brady as a 99 on the all-time Patriots or whatever, I don't even know if they still do that stuff in Madden. That's one thing. But 2020 Tom Brady, that's why, dude, if I was Deshaun Watson, I get pissed off too. If you called up Bill Belichick in week 7 last year and was like, we'd like to trade you Deshaun Watson for Tom Brady, Bill Belichick would be like, no backsies, and hanging up the phone, and a plane would arrive to pick up Deshaun Watson.
But if I'm Deshaun Watson, I'm just saying, I don't give a shit what my Madden rating is. Look what the numbers that I produced on the field. They blow out Brady's this year, and that's all I care about.
Yeah, but isn't it a little disrespectful? So now you're not getting the respect you deserve. Hey, if the people at Madden see you this way, that changes.
Who are these people at Madden? Sorry to interrupt you.
They've probably played exactly as much football as the guys at Pro Football Focus. I have a feeling they look a lot like Mike Florio.
Yeah, but you know what? I trust the Pro Football Focus stuff.
Why?
Because I think they're using actual simulation from. I don't know. I could be wrong. I think I'd love to see the actual mathematical equation because, I'm a stat dork, right? I've kind of turned into a stat dork at this point with my sports following, and I love stats. So I'm a stat dork. I own it. It is what it is. I think if you put in the stats, I feel like that's what they're doing when they're doing next gen stats or Pro Football Focus. And I'd assume they're trying to do the same thing with the Madden rankings. I just don't know.
Yeah, I'm sure it is. I'm sure it is an algorithm, and I'm sure it is putting all the numbers into a thing.
Or does Madden purposely do this? Because we're talking about it. We don't even play Madden. All the players are talking about all those people on social media.
I would. I love Madden. I would if I had a PlayStation. If anybody wants to send me a PlayStation 4, I'm available. I'll give you my address. Slide into my DMs.
I'm sure Bilbo has one. Or two,
I think Bilbo's an Xbox guy.
That's right.
I know Matt Pedoti has offered. Pedoti's offered a PS4, but I don't think he'll hear this because he doesn't listen to the show. Just kidding. I'll see you in my DMs.
By the way, I love that literally Bilbo lived with me, had an Xbox, and I didn't even know the gaming system he had.
Yeah.
What is reality at this point, Joe Praino?
I just found my old Nintendo Wii, by the way, after doing. So if anybody out there wants to do a PlayStation for a Wii trade, get at me.
Yeah, you're not going to get any buyers on that.
Oh, you never know. Somebody has 2 PlayStations and no Wiis.
You know what I think you need to do? I think
By
you
the
need
way,
to start gaming.
I think the guys who come up with the Madden ratings and the guys at Pro Football Focus, they probably don't have Wiis.
No, definitely not. I know what you did there. You know what you need? You need a day of gaming with some fresh, cold Miller Lite, Joe Praino.
Oh, I love Miller Lite so much, Andy. I love Miller Lite so much. You know, every time I take a sip of Miller Lite, I think I could not enjoy this beer more than I do. And then something happened this week. And I can't wait for you to return because I think that you're going to love this place too. My brother and I have been playing this par 3 course down in Manhattan Beach, hidden behind this little boutique hotel called the West Drift. Great little par 3 9-hole golf course. They got a little golf shack when you show up. I get myself 3 Miller Lights. I throw them in my golf bag, 1 Miller Lite every 3 holes. And literally when you're out in the California sun in a pair of shorts, whacking golf balls completely offline and washing it down with a Miller Lite. It's hard. It's hard for life to be better than that. I got to say, in these unprecedented times, it's still hard to beat that life.
Well, Dirtballs, you can join Joe on the links yourself, wherever you may be. Enjoy a nice cold Miller Lite, the original light beer, or while you're home, enjoy a classic. Available for delivery today. Celebrate responsibly. Miller Brewing Company, Milwaukee, Wisconsin. 96 calories and 3.2 carbs per 12 ounces.
Dirtball, send me your pics on Twitter and Instagram of you on the golf course with Miller Lite. It will warm my heart and cool my throat.
Love it. So baseball is going to start next week. And
allegedly.
I believe I saw 11 umps are not going to participate. Now, a lot of those guys are in that age.
Bye forever.
Right? They're in that age that's obviously for COVID that is not a safe age to be in. A lot of managers actually for that as well. I think it's time I think this is the best time, and I want to see what you think about this, to test robot umpires. It's a 60-game season, so it's a shortened season. There's already going to be an asterisk. People are already going to debate this for years to come. If there is a champion, if we actually do finish the season, why not do the robot umpires this year? I could not think of a better, more ideal situation to do it.
I agree with you. I just don't know. Is the tech ready?
Well, they've tested it, right? They've tested it at the minor league level or the independent leagues. I know that.
Let's go then. Yeah, I'm all for it. Especially do it like alternate uniforms, just every Sunday. Robot umps.
Oh, so you don't even want to do it across the season?
I'm just saying, if you needed a test run, I think there's going to be flaws, but I'm down to test it.
Yeah.
Listen, I'm all in favor of human umps. I'm not trying to take jobs away from anybody. I think there is a human element to the game that we lose with the robot umps. But at the same time, I think the benefit of robot umps is that, again, you get rid of the bad apples. You know what I mean? Like
the Angel Hernandez's guys,
the Adam Hamaris of the world. Bye forever. I'd rather have a robot ump do some Jetsons thing where it malfunction and oil spits out and springs go everywhere every 3 innings, and we've got to drag it off the field and replace it with a new robot ump, than to ever see Adam Hamari on a baseball field ever again.
What was that baseball game on the old Nintendo that had robots playing baseball?
I don't remember.
Do you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, absolutely.
Did you? Because we had it here in my family. Did you play that?
Yeah. There was a football one too.
There was
a football one where they were like on wheels and they got like a thing, and it was like, and like the ball would explode if it got too hot and like.
What?
Yeah.
You sure you weren't just high?
No,
Did that
I
really happen?
swear. It was like that was like an arcade game though.
Okay. Yeah, I'm talking about a Nintendo baseball game
I
where
remember it, but I don't remember what it was called.
the players were robots. I'll have to do a dive on that. So, what is your approach to this season? Because it kind of hit me today. I've been doing a lot of reading on my hometown Reds, right? Because the Reds are one of those teams that a lot of people think can make the playoffs, right?
Right.
And they're kind of like your Mets as far as teams that a lot of people think have great shots at winning the division or make the playoffs. You know, I know the DH, the Reds are one of those teams. The Reds have a lot of bats now that they're like the DH is really going to help that National League team.
Yeah.
And the Reds have some pitching, and obviously you guys have pitching. Like, how are you approaching this season? Because I'm kind of approaching it from a fan's perspective of I'm jumping into the lake, but I'm not just running and diving, right? Like I'm checking the water. I'll be watching some games, but I just don't know what to expect.
Now, but what is your question?
My question is like, how are you approaching this as a fan? Because I'm saying I'm approaching it kind of gingerly, whereas in the past I'd be like, let's go.
I am like ecstatic at the idea of sports coming back. I mean, I'm watching inter squad games. I bought the jersey of the, ball boy who's playing left field for the Dodgers in inter squad games, I'm in, and that upsets me because I'm only a couple weeks removed from hating baseball for even putting us in this position. But at the same time, the NBA, is it going to come back? The bubble situation, football, everybody's got to wear an N95 under their mask or they can't play. Like, we have a lot of things up in the air. So if baseball starts, I'll be watching it from an interest standpoint. Like, is this going to last? Is this going to take? And then also, I want to see Pete Alonso and Jacob deGrom and Jeff McNeil. They're like three of the best players in baseball, and they're all on my baseball team. Let's go.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I don't think I'll have the passion that I would for a full season. And I know a lot of people are like, oh, these players are coming back because they want to win. So how dare you disrespect it and call it like not a real season, which I'm not. But like, it won't be the same if the Mets win the World Series this year than that if they played 162 games. Now, feel free to take a screen grab of this and show it back to me when the Mets win the World Series and be like, I thought you weren't going to care, buddy. But
you'll care, but no, I agree with your sentiment, Joe. It's not that you won't care, not that I wouldn't care if the Reds won. It's just, it's not the same. It isn't. It's not the same for many reasons. One, fans can't go to these games as of right now, from what I've seen. So once you remove that, like, it's fun. My dad we've been watching a lot of old photo albums on the TV down here. He's got like 35,000 photos. And he came up from being downstairs. He came up when I was in the kitchen. He said, come down here. I'm putting on the Mets pitch from 2015. And we watched the whole album. And to be honest, I'd never seen those pictures. So those were his pictures.
Yeah.
So it was a fun album to see. And it was so great to see all the dirt balls and great pictures that he had of everything. But it was so cool as I'm watching that to be like, wow, the Mets made the World Series that year. I'm not even a Mets fan, but I had that memory of that game and how their season turned around after that pitch. And, you have all those memories. When you take fans out of it, none of us are going to have that for any of these teams this year.
Right.
Which really has a completely different psychological effect from the fandom point of view.
Except for Dodgers fans. They're going to be like, fans can't go? Oh, we're not late?
No, again, my opinion on Dodgers fans is they support the team, especially the Hispanic fans. It's the white collar.
It's the show up late, leave early.
Yeah, it's the movie producer who's got $300 seats who shows up.
But I just think that whether there's an asterisk or not, we're all going to look back on this, like 15 years from now, we're going to look back on this season and say, and it'll be like, if the Mets win the World Series, it's going to be like 69, 86, and 2020. You know, like if Jacob deGrom doesn't win the NL Cy Young this year and then wins it next year, I'm going to be like, come on, let's all agree he won 3 straight, right? Like the 60-game season where like the guy who won the most games in the league won 8 games. We're really counting that. Like, should we even give awards?
Okay, as a Reds fan, what's more of a laughable claim championship? If the Reds won it this year, or the Reds still holding on to the White Sox throwing the World Series?
Yeah. It's still gotta be the White Sox. I mean,
it's gotta be, right?
Every player was banned from baseball.
And if you go to any Reds museum, the Reds Hall of Fame, the stadium, when they keep holding up 1919, I want to be like, guys, come on. You can't hold up when the other team blatantly threw the series.
Yeah.
So I don't know, man.
What do you think? Since we're doing this, what do you think should be like? Which do you hold more as a more legitimate title? If whoever wins the World Series this year, or every single Patriots championship in the Belichick era?
It's going to be, look, you know me, it's going to be tough for me to discredit the Patriots championships. Sorry. I'm still a Belichick guy, man. I know they cheat, and I will openly say it and admit it. But everybody cheats, as you know.
Yeah. Andy, you missed. It's not everybody cheats, as you know. It's everybodycheats.com.
That's right.
Yourteamcheats.com.
I'll be curious because baseball and basketball are basically coming back at the same time.
Yeah, it's exciting.
From a like a personal standpoint, I'm more excited to watch basketball.
I got to say, I'm excited that they're happening at the same time, but also the way that they're happening at the same time. I'm excited that we get the end of basketball season as the beginning of baseball season. It's pretty fun.
Sure. I think baseball, I think it matters more to basketball to have fans. I think you'd agree. Baseball is a sport that I just don't think the fans affect the game that much. That's why, from the curiosity perspective, I'm really curious to see how teams and particular players handle these small little gyms in Disney, in Disneyland, Disney World, where they're playing.
Is that
how that plays out?
Is that the deal? They're going to be playing in like small little things. Are they going to be like, like I watched a tennis tournament the other day that had just like curtains basically up. Are we just going to be seeing the action? There won't be like empty seats.
I don't know. I mean, how many arenas does Disney World have down there?
I have no idea.
I'm just guessing, because if you look at the schedule, they have staggered games, right? Like the first day, you're going to have game after game after game. Like, are they all just playing on the same court? I'd assume they have multiple courts.
Yeah. I mean, we've seen that picture of like courts lined up. I don't know if those are the practice courts or those are supposed to be the home courts. Are those where they're playing those games? That's insane. I didn't even think that when I saw that picture.
But if you why play in a big arena that's just sitting empty? I think that looks even weirder.
Yeah.
Although I don't know.
I guess just the facilities, locker rooms, whatever, but who knows?
It's kind of like, when college basketball does the Maui Invitational.
Yeah.
And they play, I think at the school's right, Chaminade, they play in Hawaii, and it's basically a high school gym. That's kind of what I'm envisioning.
Right.
What they should do in the bubble is they should have kind of like the and one tour guys, like, oh shit, like they need like the designated all shit guy in the stands.
Well, I think NBA bench guys are essentially that, and we're gonna like, I think that's lost when there's a huge crowd, but I think that the NBA bench guys are gonna thrive in the bubble.
They're gonna be the all shit guys.
Yeah.
It always reminds me of, I love one of my favorite. I mean, they're all so great, so I shouldn't even say one of my favorites. But a classic Dave Chappelle sketch from Chappelle's Show. Remember when he does the and one tour in non-basketball sports?
Yeah. So
like
great.
He goes to bowling alley, a tennis court. Like, that's what I envision when they have this. Now, the bubble has a snitch hotline. We're just going to call it for what it is. This is something that came out in the last week. There is a hotline that NBA players can call if someone is violating some of the social distancing, the mask protocol, you name it. This was tweeted out just a couple days ago that there's an anonymous hotline, Joe, for NBA players to leave calls about people violating it. And I love this because now some players have come out and been like, don't be a snitch. And then some guys are coming out and being like, dude, you got to do this. This is for our safety. This is to keep the league intact.
This is Carmelo's chance to thrive again. Remember Carmelo Anthony's stop snitching video? This is Carmelo's chance to once again become an elite NBA player, to lead the stop snitching campaign.
Oh, that stop snitching thing is a classic. But I saw like somebody called on God, what's his name? Why am I? This is what happens when you don't have sports. Miami Heat, their star guard.
Who this? I don't even know what you're asking, to be totally honest with you.
Jimmy Butler. Jesus Christ.
Yeah, I'm struggling. So somebody called and snitched on Jimmy Butler?
So this actually leaked, because normally it wouldn't leak who it was. So somebody called and snitched, from what I saw, on Jimmy Butler. And apparently they called for, dude, this is turning into like apartment complex shit. They're like, dude, there's too much noise. I can't sleep. And it was Jimmy Butler dribbling a basketball in his room.
Really?
Yeah. So like the NBA now is having its own version of Karens.
Yeah. I'd like to speak to the bubble manager.
Like, that sounds like something I would do, because I'm so noise sensitive and I get so angry, and I've been so spoiled here. Like, I'm gonna go full falling down. I've already decided I'm gonna go full falling down when I go back to Savage Town, when my neighbor above me is stomping at night. I'm gonna go full Karen, full falling down. But that's kind of what's happened in the NBA bubble.
Yeah, it's wild.
Because I know,
Andy, I'm not seeing anything. Like, you've been talking about taking a bit of a break on social media, and I'm already there. I've decided to no longer reply to people, or no longer reply more than once at the very least. If I get a reply to something from a friend or a dirtball or somebody, whose opinion I care about, or a fellow comedian, I'm done replying to anonymouses. I'm barely on social media. And honestly, like, it feels good,
It does feel good.
I've been playing a lot more golf, and it's not because of what I'm doing. Like you've said, the arguments and all the stuff that goes on social media these days is just too much. I mean, I made fun of Shabelli on the show. Shabelli and I traded texts the other day. I was like, Shabelli, I don't even really care about your opinions, but what is you doing? I was like, you're spending your whole day replying with graphs to everybody on the internet. I'm like, what are you doing? And honestly, this is a nice segue into a conversation that we had a little bit off air yesterday. But I'm happy to talk about like my end from it now. I say things on this show. I have strong opinions, and people don't agree with them. A lot of people don't like my thoughts on the military industrial complex and the United States causing violence around the world for, the last 100 years. And people don't like my opinion on, cops, which is our domestic version of the military industrial complex. Guys, I don't need your DMs. I don't care. I don't need a goodbye. If you're not listening to the Dirty Sports podcast anymore because you don't like an opinion I had, you don't need to let me know. I don't care. Goodbye forever. Like, there's plenty of.
I disagree. Let him know. Bombard his DMs.
There's plenty of sports podcasts out there where guys don't have strong opinions. Go listen to those. We're talking about how sports right now is being affected by politics and social issues, and it is what it is. If you don't like my opinion on it, tell Andy that sorry he has to deal with it. But you don't need to message me and say, you're an asshole for not supporting the troops. Bye. I hope you fucking kill yourself and all this stuff. Like, I don't care. Bye. You don't need to say goodbye. You can Irish exit my mentions forever.
You know what though, Joe? I'm gonna call you out right now. I think you do care. I think you care that you brought this up. I think you care a little.
No, because the thing is, you know what? Go on Reddit and trash me. Go on our reviews and trash me. All reviews are good reviews. But you don't need to let me know that you're not listening anymore. You know what and by the way, you know who always listens forever? People who say, I'm done listening. No one is a more valuable, and consistent listener than the guy who swears he's never listening anymore. Pedote, send me that PS4, dog.
Well, Joe, in a matter of weeks, the good news is we will be back in the Smut Studio / Tug's Tiki Bar, and we will be able to have these disagreements, discussions, laughs together.
Yeah, I can't wait.
Tug's funny. I talked to Tug about that. He's like, when you coming back? He's like, can I I'm like, Tug, you can still use my apartment. Tug has gotten so used to it. I love this. I said, Tug,
he wants permission to come hang when you're back.
Yeah. So I told him, I said, Tug, when I come back, I've been out of Los Angeles, away from the weather, the beach for 3 months. This is the longest. Like, I don't think people realize this is the longest I've been. This is the longest I've lived in Cincinnati since 2004. After one of my summers in college. And I've lived in LA now for 13 years, right? So that's more than a third of my life. So I told Tug, I said, Tug, I'm going to want so much beach time when I come back. And I said, I won't even bother you. I said, Tug, you can come over whenever. I won't even stay in the apartment.
When you have the internet, Tug's just going to never leave.
I know. I said, the internet will be back. I'll hop my little bicycle if it's still there. Highly unlikely. My bicycle's been there under a cup. Highly unlikely. If it's still there, I'll hop on my bike, go to the beach in Marina Del Rey, and just get some sun. I'm so pale right now, Joe. You talk about going in the bubble. This is the palest I've been, the whitest I've been. Walt keeps heckling me every day about it because you're so white, you're so pale.
Dude, I'm crushed. My tan's coming in nice, dude. It's been a gulp. I'm gonna have a knee brace tan, but boy, do I feel like I'm gonna have a golden brown here, which is important. It's all part of this, Andy, for Pebble. The one reason I decided that I am gonna go, I am very excited to show off. I am putting together quite a kit to wear on the course, and a nice bronze is part of it.
Yeah.
You can't wear. I have a very much, and I can't wait to debut it. But a lot of white based, like a very real islandy white vibes. You can't wear a lot of white if you're not a golden brown skin.
Yeah.
So I'm getting this tan going.
Oh, I'm disgusting. It's offensive right now.
You're in your basement with your Renaissance lighting behind you. Rembrandt windows.
Yeah. So I want to bring up the NBA title odds right now. And actually, this is a great question because I just looked at YouTube and it's perfect timing. Somebody actually asked a question that can coincide with us discussing this. So somebody asked this. It's a great question. How does Vegas handle bets that people made before COVID happened? For example, if you made your annual World Series bet for the Mets to win, does anything change? That's a great question.
I would imagine that they have to honor it. You know what I mean? Because why is this any different than say, I bet on the Mets to win the World Series and Jacob deGrom got hurt. It's it is, shit happens. I would think that they would have to honor it. Now, an interesting one would be what if you bet on a team in the NBA? Were the only teams that are gone are the ones that were officially eliminated?
Yeah.
Okay.
I think.
So I guess then that's,
I don't know though.
I guess that's fair. I would think that they have to honor it. unless something happened, unless they got rid of like an NBA team that technically wasn't eliminated, but and you bet on them to win. It's like, hey man, I don't get a fair shake at this. What if they had gone on a miracle run?
Well, look, the odds, I could be wrong, and somebody please correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm pretty sure as I look at the current Las Vegas odds, I'm pretty sure the Bucks were the odds-on favorite before COVID hit.
And now
I'm almost positive it's now the Lakers. So right now I'll just go through the top 5 or whatever. Lakers are the odds-on favorite to win at 12-5. The Bucks are 5-2. The Clippers are 33-10. The Rockets are 12-1. The Celtics are 17-1. The Raptors are 22-1. The Nuggets are 25-1. So again, I could be wrong, and I'm sure I could pull it up if I really wanted to do a dive on it. But I think some things have flipped for sure.
Yeah.
Because I think they're going to go with experience. They're going to go with – I think a team like the Lakers, obviously, you have –
the GOAT.
You have – well, not just that. Vogel's had a lot of deep playoff run experience. I think that helps having that as a coach. They got multiple players who have experience. I don't know. I like this whole bubble thing.
By the way, does the list keep going? Do you have more teams on the list?
Sure.
Keep going. Cause I don't hate, just from a value bet, I don't hate getting into that Nuggets range where you're like, what if this team does like just put it together? It's like, they just figure it out. It's a wonky thing. Like go with these high odds teams. I would even say what better year to jump in on a Rockets with a high odds, except for the fact that Russell Westbrook has COVID and reportedly James Harden also has the James Harden has COVID is like the Dan Snyder is out on the Redskins. Like it's been talked about for a week, but no one's made it official.
Well, here's the deal about James Harden. He did not show up to the bubble on the team plane.
Right.
He showed up by himself.
Right.
So a lot of rumors are that he has COVID.
Right.
And that he's going to go into straight quarantine.
Right.
So the odds, once you hit the Nuggets, they're 25-1. Then the 76ers are 28-1. Then the Heat are 30-1. Then you have the Jazz at 33-1. The Mavs at 40-1.
Ooh, I like a Mavs at 40-1. Just like a little Doncic Porzingis losing their mind for a month and a half.
Yeah.
Rick Carlisle. Just for fun.
Yeah, so you throw $50 down.
Yeah, why not? $2,000.
You get 2 G's back. Yeah. It's not a bad bet. Look, I think that's what I'm excited to see how this plays out, but I'm worried, as I've said all along. The wheels fall off. And now, and this thread of this Instagram model, which came out Sunday, saying she was already invited to the bubble. It's J.R. Smith, dude. You can't underestimate the amount of J.R. Smith type mentalities that these guys have. Are you trying to get the bubble?
Yeah. You're trying to get the bubble.
But you would think the NBA could enforce that, right?
Could enforce what?
Some Instagram tot just rolls up. Is it tot or thought? We always do this.
Can you just say model? Can you say Instagram piece or something? I don't know.
Thought. I love tot. She's like a tater tot. Tater tots are delicious. Instagram model's delicious.
Tater thoughts are more delicious.
Are they? Yeah. I could do some of that.
Get me a tater thought.
I'm just picturing.
By the way, I just see 2 tater tots together, pressed up together. Those ones that get stuck together in the oven with a little G string in the middle, a little tater thought.
I think tater tots, to be honest, are one of the underrated.
I hate tater tots.
You hate tater tots?
Hate tater tots.
Why?
Too much potato to the fry combo. I like a thin shoestring fry, as we've talked about before. I don't need a thick potato. I hate steak fries. I hate tater tots.
So you know the bar in Santa Monica, West 4th and Jane?
Yeah.
So I like West 4th and Jane because if you order like a burger, like a pulled pork sandwich, instead of fries, they give you them tater tots. Man.
That's why every time I'm there, I get those delicious ginger sriracha chicken wings. Keep those fries, those tots away from me. Give me the wings. Let's go. I love West 4th and Jane, by the way. I hope that survives.
No, it won't.
The pandemic.
Do you realize, Joe, LA will not exist by March of 2021. It will not exist.
Hot take. LA will not exist.
I don't know, man. I don't know.
Going full Snake Plissken and wearing your eye patch around. Escape from LA.
I don't know, man. I don't know what to expect anymore. I've been watching too much rugby. New Zealand looks amazing. Let's go. Let's become Kiwis. Is that what they're called down there?
Dude, I love it.
Or is that a racist term? Did I just say something racist?
No, I think Kiwis is acceptable.
Right?
Yeah.
You don't know nowadays.
I don't know anything anymore.
Did I just get canceled?
No, I don't think so. I think it's an acceptable term, but I could be wrong.
Okay. Do we have an update before we wrap up this show? Do we have an update? I see we do not. I just want an update on this Daniel Schneider Washington Redskins story. No.
I'm just going to trending.
Yeah, I just looked.
Dan Snyder's trending in the United States, but
by the way, I thought of you last night on the documentary.
Madden's trending, Frappuccino's trending, so something might have gone down at Starbucks. Michelle Obama podcast. Well, there goes our stronghold on the podcast game. Michelle Obama's in.
I watched a Stephon Marbury documentary on Netflix last night.
Oh yeah, how was that?
It's not the best, and Stephon.
Is it Stephon produced?
Yeah, he's one of these edit producers. He doesn't come on till like the last 15 minutes. It's only an hour and a half. It's not the best, but it gave me better insight. I did not know a lot about Stephon Marbury.
You didn't know that basically he got game is the Stephon Marbury story?
I did not know that. And they do talk about that.
Do they?
They do.
Yeah. Coney Island, NYC's best player. Like, you know, that was why everybody bonered out about Steph coming back when he played for the Knicks, because he was the golden child in New York City basketball. And he did it, you know, like a lot. So that New York City loves to dub everybody like the guy. And if you are good in New York City, you get
Felipe Lopez. Remember him?
Yeah, Felipe Lopez. Flat jump shot because they had a small ceiling in the gym he played in.
They talk about him, by the way.
Do that.
So yeah, I mean, look, I'm not trying to. I think people should watch it if you want to learn about him. I just, you know, it's not. My point is this: don't go in expecting the 30 for 30. It's not that.
Do they cover him eating Vaseline?
They do, and that's another thing I wanted to bring up. I had forgotten about those meltdown videos.
Yeah,
the Vaseline and those crazy videos. I had forgotten about that, but what I liked about it is there is redemption. I did not know that he played in China for 8 years.
Yeah, like is he still playing in China?
No, he retired in 2018 was his last game.
But yeah, he was there and he made dough.
Made bank. And he was good over there and he won a bunch of titles.
Yeah.
And I had multiple thoughts going through my head during the China thing. I just could not stop thinking of Bressler. Our buddy Alex Bressler, because he kept complimenting China, and I kept thinking like, oh. And there was, and of course I had to look at the credits. There was definitely Chinese producers, and there was definitely some bankroll coming from Chinese money. But I thought it was an overall good documentary, and it's just one of those guys that he had a great NBA career because he did, but he played on so many teams, and you could argue he just didn't live up to his potential. And
Steph is a great example of a guy, you know, who he played a very particular style. You can't argue with, like, I think it was 20-8 for basically like his whole career up to a point.
He was.
But you know, it's that style of point guard, which been a long time since that style of point guard led to a championship.
By the way, his draft class was so stacked.
Yeah.
They were talking about that. Like I think Steve Nash was like taken 15th or 16th in that draft class.
Right.
I mean, it was AI, him, Ray Allen, Nash. I mean, dude, that's 4 Hall of Famers, or I don't know, Marbury won't be a Hall of Famer, right? I mean, it's
no, unless it's his Chinese career.
Yeah. But I'm saying, like, that's 4, and I think I'm missing some guys.
Yeah, and for sure.
To be honest,
was it like the Stackhouse, Rashid, like that around the same time, right?
I'm gonna look this up.
I mean, there was definitely like a, he went to Georgia Tech. It was like the Kenny Anderson 2 thing, and then Iverson was at Georgetown at the time.
How could I forget Kobe? Dude, this was pretty stacked. Huge guys from that. It's the 1996 draft class.
Yeah.
Iverson, Camby, Marbury, Ray Allen, Antoine Walker. I'm thinking of guys who like really were really good. Kobe, Peja, Stojakovic, Nash, Jermaine O'Neal. I mean, you had some guys. It's a pretty stacked class.
Yeah.
But yeah, I would watch it, Joe, since you're a New Yorker, and I'd advise anybody who followed his career to watch it. And what I like is it breaks it down in a linear fashion from the time he was a kid about his whole family, because all his brothers played college ball and were good, and his dad was good. So it breaks it all the way down how he, like you said, as a New Yorker, see, I didn't know that. Like, he was the chosen one. They were already talking about him at a very, very young age.
He got game is straight up basically based on Stephon Marbury. It's
that's
like,
what they say.
I mean, Coney Island and everything.
Yeah, that's exactly what they say. Well, Praino, it's been a fun episode. I know you got to hit the links. So let's wrap this bad boy up.
Day off today, I think.
Okay.
But maybe a driving range trip later. We'll see. Some point I've got to rest my old bones, including the ones that were recently shattered. Today might be that day off, but there is a ongoing process here. There's already Bilbo's already sitting on some footage from the last couple days for episode 2 of 2 Weeks to Pebble. So go to my YouTube and subscribe so that you get updates, because I posted the one today on Twitter. And I'm not sure I'll post all of them on Twitter, guys. So if you want to follow this this process, me trying to literally figure out how to play golf in a fortnight so that I can play what's often regarded as one of the best courses in America, please subscribe to my YouTube and watch it. And it's going to be fun.
Cool.
And we're taking bets. I'm going to put a poll up. Can I break 100?
I'm saying no right now.
Okay, I appreciate the confidence.
It's all right. You never give me confidence, so we got to throw it back at you. All right, guys, follow us on Twitter and Instagram at The Dirty Sports. You can follow me at Andy Ruther. That is our show. Dirtballs. Just wear a mask. Like, I'm gonna be that guy right now. Just if you're outside. just fucking wear a mask. Like, it's
Here come the fucking iTunes reviews, Andy.
And by the way, for the record, I was somebody who was like, stop telling me what to do a few months ago.
Here's the iTunes reviews. I'm sick of Andy Ruther and his politics forcing his mask on me.
It's not politics. I was wrong. Like, at this point, we need something to, I don't even know if it works. Look, that's the thing. I don't even know if it works, but it's simple. Just, and hold on. Now that I'm fucking lecturing, don't be in big groups either. Like, guys, we got a problem here. Can we just get this under control? I might have COVID. I'm concerned. What am I going to do?
Rip your DMs. Rip your DMs,
all right, guys.
Andy.
Much love to everybody. Have a great week. And as always, stay dirty.